Hello everyone, this is Tina with Tia's Treasures. Today I've got 10 cards from Spellbinders. The reason I am just getting this out right now is because I just got the kit a few days ago. I'm not sure if anybody wants to see the July kit in August, but here you go. It seems like they're starting to ship their kits out a little later. By they, I mean Spellbinders, of course. Um, so for this first card, I took the gold striped pattern paper and I cut that down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I put it on a piece of the kind of lilac cardstock that came in the kit. Just about everything I'm using came in the kit today, except for a few odds and ends, and I'll point them out. But this card is really pretty. The card kit is Damask Dreams, and you can see an unboxing on Spellbinders site. I figured I wasn't going to waste time unboxing it. But if that's something you all like to see, let me know in the comments, and I can always do unboxings before I do these cards. So with this one, I've got the little banner up there in the top left hand corner. It says we all have stories to tell, and I put the little flowers behind this pop-up that's got a little gold chandelier that says you light up my life, and I just thought it was real pretty. And so this is card number 1. Now I put all my cards together in the opposite order of what you're showing them, or what I'm showing them, because I kind of stacked them up on the side and I just pulled them from the top down when I probably should have flipped them. Just because I'm using, for this kit, I'm using a lot of the lilacs and the purples, and they're all pastel colors pretty much that came in this kit. Now for this second card here, I took 2 of the Spellbinders color blocking dies, but you don't need them. You can just cut these papers in kind of a diagonal, like a triangle. And these are pretty much my scraps from all the cards I did previous. So as you can see, when I said I did them backwards, this is what I meant. Now what I should have done was put the glue on the card base instead of on the back of the pattern paper, because I ended up kind of getting a lot of glue on my on the glass mat, and I wasn't always sure where to stop gluing. But this card, it came out pretty good. I really liked the way it looked. I was trying to figure out what to do with all my scraps, because they were just too pretty to waste. So I came up with this kind of design, which I had it all laid out real pretty, and then when I dumped it, I was having a little bit of issues here, as you can see, it not wanting to fit the way it was when I originally did it. There was something else on this card that I was thinking about. As you can see, there's the glue on my mat. So yeah, this card, as easy as it was, just kind of gave me a little bit of fits here and there, but I thought it really turned out pretty in the end. The card warped just a little bit. I think if I did this again, I'd put it on a heavier card base, because the bases that come in the Spellbinders kit aren't the heaviest. They're probably, what, 80 pounds maybe? And depending on what you're doing with the cards, I like to use 120 pound for my card bases most of the time. So yeah, I get these all glued down, and I figure we're still watching me glue, which is a really, really exciting thing. But you know, it can be fun. I was a little leery on putting glue on this pattern paper, because sometimes you get the bumps from the glue, but I found if I put the glue on really thin, I don't end up with those rivers of glue behind the paper that you sometimes see, because that's the last thing you want to do is make this gorgeous card and then have all these like lines from the glue. And I've had that happen before. So I'm getting a little bit smarter with the way I put my glue on. And right now I'm trying to work my way through the art glitter glue, but I had heard that the is it the Barely the Barely glue? I can't think of the name of it. I'm sure you all know what I mean. That one doesn't do the rivers behind. I think it's a thinner glue. And this glue is pretty thin in itself, so you still got to kind of be careful and mindful of the amount of glue you're putting on. And so it's just, I really, the more I look at this kind of sunburst, I think I'm going to have to use these dyes more often because it really gives a pretty pattern, and especially when you've got a card kit that already coordinates with everything. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like all my July card kits were really slow this month. And I thought when I got back from Arizona, I would have like a bunch of them waiting for me. And I didn't. I think I had one thing that I ordered. And off the top of my head, I don't even remember what it was right now. So when I get this all ready, I'm trying to figure out, it is a busy background. So I figured I would use the glitter sentiments that came with the kit, and this one says hello. There was a few other sentiments that I liked, the glitter ones, but my glitter it wasn't in the best shape, all my sentiments. Some of it looked like it had been torn, and so there was only so many sentiments that I could use, and luckily hello worked out perfectly. So now I'm trying to figure out where to put my little gems. And the one I put down, I didn't really like the location, but this paper is so thin, if I would have pulled it back up, it would have torn. So I kind of ended up with the 3 in the right hand corner, and then I just put 1 in the left corner. So this is my card that I really collaged on. Spellbinders has a lot of tickets this month. They have sentiments on them. The ones I've got on this card are like a little bit of perfection. Today is your day. Every memory ticket. Just a whole lot. Sometimes I wonder what everyone does with these tickets. I don't use them that often, but on this card, I thought I would take the pattern paper that's got like tickets and ledgers and all sorts of things, and I thought I would use all the tickets pretty much that came in the kit and just pile them on. This first thing I'm putting on here is the tag that came in the kit, only one tag this month, and I took a little bit of twine from my stash and I tied that on the tag, and then I decided I kind of wanted to have the twine kind of loop over a little bit. So I used a glue dot just to put it down so it stayed where I wanted to. And I ended up covering most of the twine anyway, so it didn't really matter in the end. It's a little lumpy where it's covered, but I think that kind of adds to the charm because there's so much texture going on with this card with all the layering I did. It's just, tons of layer. I ended up putting every piece of ephemera that I pulled out for this card on this card. You can see here I'm popping up the little sentiment that says happy-go-lucky with the horseshoe. And I just end up laying that on the card, thinking I could move it later if I need to. Well, while it was just kind of lying there, lying or laying? Not really grammatically correct. Either way, one of them's wrong. As it was on the card, just kind of sitting there, it ended up sticking. It glued itself without me pressing it down. But that's kind of where I wanted it anyway, so it wasn't a real big deal. It worked out. And it was still kind of loose enough that in the beginning I was able to get a lot of the tickets under there without having to really pull it up. But this card is really fun, I thought. I just kind of went to town, gluing everything down. I'm not exactly sure what this little piece is. It looks like some little game ticket you might use at a carnival or something. If anybody knows what those were, let me know. I never used anything like that. So, this summer, I cannot believe it's August and the summer is already almost over. It's like I always think of August as the last month of summer. And I just love summer, and it just goes so quickly. It just seems like it was Memorial Day, and like boom, now it's August. So, what are you gonna do? I should probably be outside trying to enjoy the weather, but after a bit, I figured I'm so behind on getting any kind of content out that I was going to take Sunday to put these cards together, which I did. And now I'm doing the voiceover today. So that little sentiment I put on top there just says shine today. And then I took a few of the small little gems that came in the kit, and I'm just kind of putting those around. And I'm putting my cards up to the camera, and I'm so close to having them in focus, but on every card it seems like I cut off the top 1/3 when I'm trying to show them off. I really need to mirror what I'm doing so I can like zoom in and stuff. As it is right now, I keep everything kind of off to the center. I don't zoom in a whole lot because I am afraid that I'll end up cutting off what I'm doing. So you could see that I used my little, my mind went blank. What is it I used? Uh, don't you hate that when you're in the middle of something? My score buddy. I used my score buddy to line up my paper. God, my mind just went so blank. So this card, I figured with the bright pink and the pattern paper that was beautiful, was so busy that it didn't need a whole lot. So the sentiment beautiful just fit the colors perfectly. So I put that in the center with a couple of the bigger gemstones that came in the kit. And I called it a day on this card. It's very simple, but I thought it was pretty. And I'm not even sure I needed the gemstones. It just seemed really lazy not to even put them on. So I went ahead and did that. As you can see, my beautiful's a little bit crooked. I think I probably should have got my T-ruler out. But if you've been following me at all, you know that I always have to have at least one thing crooked. So this card here, I was looking at the butterflies and looking at this pattern paper, and it looked to me like that there was a butterfly that matched every stripe on the paper. So I decided that that's what I was going to do. I was going to try to line up the butterflies with the stripes. And it's, as you can see, I've got like the little glitter sentiment that says wow. I thought I might try fitting that in if I could. But I'm just right now just kind of having fun and pulling these butterflies off and trying just to arrange them on their coordinating stripe. These butterflies they're a sticker with acetate on the top, and then the little glitter bodies are popped up on some foam tape, and their little antennas are just little bitty wires. So they're kind of different butterflies. I haven't seen these before, but they work out really well. So here I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put this pink butterfly. The stripe is too narrow, but I really want to use this butterfly because I have this big gap. So I decide I'm going to just like let it hang off the side and cut the wing off. I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I took a chance And as it turned out, it looked pretty good. I got that big gap by the center though, and I'm not sure at this point what I'm going to do with that gap. Now, the sentiment wow doesn't really work with the butterflies, but I had a backup sentiment that says love and laughter, and I'm going to pop that up on some foam tape, and I put that right on the top. And for a moment there, I thought, well, good enough. I do have a gap, but this card looks pretty good anyway. But the more I looked at it, the more it kind of irritated me. And I decided I was going to try to move that butterfly over, the one on the purple center stripe, which is what I'm doing. And I took off just a tiny pinprick of the pattern paper, but I decided I wasn't going to let that bother me, and I was going to put that butterfly where I wanted. And so I think that card turned out really nice. As you can see, you can't really tell too much where I had pulled the butterfly off. So this is card number 4, not 5. We're on 5 already. Now this one, I took a lot of time trying to cut out the pattern paper with the damask pattern. It's got a purple damask pattern kind of over a green speckled damask. And so I took a lot of time trying to center the damask. So I cut a little bit off one side, then I cut a little bit off the other side, and I measured it out, and I cut a little bit off the top and the bottom because I really wanted the main image centered. As you can see right now, it's nice and pretty, and that green background is being pulled out by the green cardstock. And now I'm going to go and put all that work to waste by layering a bunch of flowers on top of it. I could have saved myself a lot of time and just cut that paper down without trying to get it centered, and I think it would have looked just as good. So I've got this pink rose on top, and I'm putting these yellow roses underneath. I don't know about you, but I just love yellow roses. Those are my favorite. Just, in case anybody ever wants to send me roses, send me yellow. So I've got those glued down, and I'm layering these all up. And I'm going to put a little bit of greenery behind. And I just think this kit had some really lovely florals in it. Surprisingly, this kit didn't have as many die cuts as the kit normally does. It had plenty, don't get me wrong. Spellbinders always comes with so many die cuts, but this, it seemed like it had about half as many, and half of the ones it did have were sentiments, which worked out pretty well. I have to take a drink of water here. I'm getting dry with all this talking. And you're probably getting tired of listening to me talk anyway. So I get the little gold butterfly in the corner there, which I think the silhouettes are just so pretty when they do that. And I've got this word fabulous. You look fabulous. And I just glued that down. And I'm going to put a few more of these gemstones. Now I'm going to do the pattern I always do. I got my 2 in the upper right hand and 1 in the lower left. That's like my favorite way to put gems all the time. Don't know why. There's nothing special about it. It just seems like that's always where I'm putting them. So for card number 5, we have got this lovely, lovely color that I've been using a lot of on this kit. You can see this pretty lilac. When I was young, I had to have everything that color. I had rooms that color and clothes that color, and I mean, it was just my absolute favorite color. I'm kind of getting into more aquas lately now that I'm older, but lilac will always still have a special place in my heart. So I'm gluing down the piece of green. It's damask pattern. I don't know. It's a smaller one though. It's got like numerous little patterns back there, And I'm taking this floral, which I think it's the prettiest floral in the kit, and I'm gluing that down. It's got like the lilac and the little aqua flower. And unfortunately, I think that's the only aqua flower it came with, or I would have put some more on this card. So I've got this little cameo, this gold cameo that I thought would just kind of work well with this and the gold floral. And I tuck that in. And I'm just playing around, kind of getting these leaves and the greenery and just kind of where I want to put them. Kind of doing it so everything just kind of circles around and flows. And it ends up turning out really well. And I took some, I don't know if it's exactly chipboard, it's almost chipboard stickers that came in the kit. It's a little bit thinner than chipboard, and it sticks a lot better than the chipboard, but it's got this gold lettering that says fancy free. And I just thought that with all the gold on the card, that kind of worked out perfectly. So I just popped that on there and called this card done. Yay, and there I am cutting off the top third. I was trying to show everybody the cards this time, give you a good view of them. So this card, number 6, is it 6? No, it's 7. Number 7. Yeah, I can count. So I took the little bit darker purple that came in the kit again, and I've got that cut to A2 size. I've glued that on my card base, and then I've got this other piece of pattern paper that's got like little starbursts. It's almost like modernist looking, and it's got the little gold centers. These little patterns remind me of the mid-century clocks you used to have, you know, and it just, I love mid-century. You know, if I could find some of those clocks, I'd have one. It wouldn't go with the rest of my house because my house is just a mishmash of this and that. But anyhow, so this tag says there is good in every day, and it's got the aqua on it. And I just thought the aqua went so well with this purple. And I took this little carousel horse, which is the only piece of die cut in the kit that's kind of carnival or circusy. They do have a few hot air balloons in the kit, but not a lot. I think there's like 3 or 4 die cuts of those. And anyhow, because this has got the aqua, I just thought it went so well. And I took the little die cut that says you've got style, and so I didn't want it to kind of fade into the card, so I put that across the horse. And for a finishing touch, I took the Spectrum Noir glitter marker, and I just glittered up the mane and the tail. So I think this is a simple card, but it's just really pretty. And so now, you know what? I'm on card number 8. No, 9. I guess I can't count. I'm getting all my cards mixed up. So for this card here, again, I'm using the lilac. And you get to see me use my score buddy again. I use that all the time. Otherwise, I can never line up anything. I always end up having to pull it off. Even doing it this way, I have to pull it off sometimes and re-put it on. So, anyhow, I digress. I've got this piece of pattern paper here that's kind of looks like almost like alcohol ink or some sort of marbling. It's really pretty. So I put that on the card, and I am using this frame that it's the dies that came in this month's kit. And you get the one die, which is like the one on top right there. And if you cut it out twice, it'll make a frame. So I went ahead and cut it out twice, and I cut a little bit of the florals off the bottom piece because I just thought it would be too much. and it didn't really go with the flow as much, and it wouldn't have fit my card. So I just kind of I left the flowers on there because I really liked the way it looked. And I took another one of the butterflies and I put that in the center of the frame. And now I've got this little dragonfly too, which is really cute. And it's kind of got that blue, which goes so well with the lilac. So I'm putting that in the corner. And if you look in the lower left-hand corner of this card anyway, the marbling's got a little bit of the aqua color in it. So I wanted to pull that out. And I got a die cut that said, "It's your day to shine." And I thought that was a perfect sentiment on this card. And that's it for card number 9. That's so pretty. Okay, now for card number 10. I've got this, is it Damask? Probably, that's the name of the kit, so it probably is Damask pattern paper. And I took this piece of pattern paper and I'm using that as my frame or my mat, as you will. And so I put that on my A2, and I've got this lilac piece of paper cardstock that I used the VersaFine ink on, and I used it as a watermark. And as you can see, I took the stamps that came in the kit, and I used the big one that had a die cut out, and a tiny one, and I just watermarked the whole back, the background. And I love the way the watermarks look sometimes. And I took this chocolate embossing powder and I embossed the floral, and I'm popping that up. And I did the same thing with the hello. Both of those cut out. They had die cutouts for them. And so by popping them up on the card, I just took this really simple idea and I just think it really popped. And so I am also I'm putting a few of the gemstones on this card because I thought it just needed a little more. But you don't want to put too much on it because I think it's pretty in its simplicity. So anyway, let me know which card was your favorite. And if I didn't bother you too much, I would love it if you subscribe or hit the like button. And here are my 10 cards. 10 cards, 1 kit. And hopefully the Spellbinders kit this month will get to me a little bit quicker than last month's. They take my money out on the 5th, but take forever to get me my card. Anyhow, bye-bye.